Okay, good evening ASUCM Senate, fellow executives, and the general public. Tonight I would like to give a bit of a recap of things that have been happening over the course of the past few weeks, and also to tell you all what I'm planning. So first and foremost, SOC happened this weekend. And that was like a great experience, just like an amalgamation, accumulation of all UCs, all the students of color, and not just students of color, at that place. I think it was wonderfully informational. There's a couple of pros and cons I'd like to discuss as a delegate, as myself. I can't speak on behalf of the delegation just as a delegate. It was wonderfully informational, I had a great time. It was a definite improvement from the info that we got from last year. The workshops were really interesting, for example. I got really the caliber of a workshop can be judged by how many said were sleeping. And there was very few people who were like, there's actually people paying attention, And I had a great time with that. Also the caucuses, I believe, were the best part. The caucuses, I think, really brought together because it was just such a generic caucus, being students of color, being men of color and women of color, as compared to being like separate subjugations. And I think that was really for us to encompass our collective struggles as compared to being society-specific struggles, ethnic-specific struggles. Struggles, all that jive. The edutainment was extraordinary. I don't know if you all remember, but those of you who were there, DJ Rhino, whoever that was, we're hiring that guy. I want it, right? We're totally going to make a killing if we have him here. The action protest was one of my favorite parts. I actually made it to the front page of the Daily Bruin. And that's like my war face on there. But the reason I'm saying that is because it was literally one of the most exhilarating experiences of my life. I would definitely, that's actually the kind of ideology I want to hear at this campus, to actually move away from that plague of apathy that's been here for far too long. Actually, there's a funny story that I'll just tell you. That's not really what you read, but there was a person right next to me, and he was literally yelling "F the police" the whole time in that protest. I was a little appalled for a second, but it was just that kind of thinking, that fearless. I'm not condoning saying "F the police," just FYI. Also, on a serious note, Fidel, at the end, he told us that there was a police officer who identified himself as one who worked for 35 years in his field, and he said that was one of the best protests he's seen in a long time. That really goes to show exactly how fulfilling that was. Those were the cons. There's a couple of cons that I noticed. Again, so these are only my opinions. They're not indicative of anybody else who attended, just to be clear. I think it was extremely disorganized. There was almost as if you couldn't tell who was in charge. It was like a free-for-all running around, let's go here now. People have probably been voicing that. So, also, I think there was sufficiently unprofessional for some of the people to basically have a lynch mob against Napolitano. I actually felt scared at that time that they were basically having rabble-rousing going on. I don't need to voice much of that. I think you all know what I'm talking about. That was scary. That was really unwelcoming. That's not something I'd like to see at a students of color, because okay, I'm going to stop there at that. Good on UCSA. UCSA, I'm always a huge fan of UCSA, but bad on UCLA, because we're not really acknowledging the icon. For example, that's something, Jaron, where do you go? Jaron. What is that? Okay, acknowledge Jaron. That's something he told me, that UCLA, and also Jefferson, I'll talk with him about this, is that UCLA voiced the conference as one of their own. It wasn't like UCSA's conference at UCLA, it was UCLA's conference at UCLA. And that was a huge problem, and I believe Jefferson's going to have, he's going to voice this in his 50-page report that he sent out. Okay, the hosts of the conference, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, can I motion to extend time, please?
Yeah. Senator Hernandez?
Motion to extend time by 10 minutes?
Please. I won't use all of it.
5 minutes.
There's been a motion to extend time by speaker's time by 5 minutes or a second. Senator Gray? Second by Senator Gray. Any discussion? Anyone opposed? Senator Net. Okay. Time has been extended by 5 minutes.
Okay, fine, I'll cut it down. I know what y'all mean. So, moving forward, so there's actually, I went to this thing called the Financial Aid Review Project. This was about 2 days ago. Really, so before I attended UC Merced, I had this really big fight with my mother about one thing. And there was like $29,000 we were supposed to pay for UC Merced, and that was severely turning us off because there's no way I can do it. But then I realized as I attended UC Merced, these 3 years I've been around here, is that I pay significantly less because I live off campus. I don't pay half the money that I'm supposed to bring on campus. Also, what I really thought of is that I can have maybe like an personalized, difficult to explain, but when you all have that My Bill on UC Merced and how it shows you generic average numbers about how much it should cost to live on campus and all that jive, that's going to be replaced. It's going to be almost like a fluctuating stock market kind of an approach. It would give you interpersonal, for example, Adam Brown, engineering student, pays $16,000, Amsel Wajudi pays $20,000 because he's a poli-sci major. right? I mean, there's tons of factors we can vary in how much groceries you get, what part of the city you live in. There's tons of potential for collab between NRC, financial aid, OCH, all that jive. So this is definitely like a huge, grand project that I'm looking for lots of staff on. If you find anybody, if you're interested, come my way. Okay, one thing I also want to acknowledge now that Jaron Brendan's here, so it's coming along really, really well. I mean, don't want to get anybody excited, but it's something that's definitely a possibility and a possibility in the near future. That being said, I also think that maybe UC Merced as a campus, we should really focus on how we can have the students' exact, like their exact feedback in the thing. Now, I understand it's not feasible, nor is it very logical to have every single one that's been voiced in the actual building, but we can have maybe like, it's really hard to speak on it. Give me 1 second, sorry. Yeah. To really have exactly what students want, like a tailor-made student union building, hence the word student union building. Just making sure. Okay. Finally, there was something that I learned in business law a couple days ago, was that a trademark registration is something that we need. As you all noticed, the ASUCM emblem, that's something that I'm not a huge fan of, but it's something that we really need to legitimize our growth as a campus as, and a growth as ASUCM as an organization as. And it necessitates that. I'll be working with Jess Lopez on that. That isn't following my purview at all. But like I said, that's something I will put as a consensus to Senate in the near future. That's all I have to say. With that, have a good night, wonderful productive evening. God bless America. Thank you.
Someone extends time for me, my report's very long.
Motion to extend Jefferson's report by 10 minutes.
Motion to extend the guest speaker's time by 10 minutes. Is there a second? Senator Wong? Second by Senator Wong. Any discussion? Okay, you have 15 minutes.
Okay. So, hey everyone. So, as the semester's coming to an end, I would like for all of you to remember to keep up the morale of this organization. The students on this campus have elected you because they believe that you can make a change on this campus. If that momentum is lost, who's going to pick up the slack? Is it going to be Jaren? Is it going to be like just one person? It's going to be everyone. It has to be everyone. So we must continue to work together and represent our constituents to the best of our abilities. The executives have been working very hard to continue to provide the best possible experience for all of you here at UC Merced and for ASUCM. And also, not even that, but for students all around campus and throughout the state. I know that Jaren has been meeting with CSSA. Ish went to the National Association for Campus Activities Conference, regional conference, and I know that Ivan will be going on a conference soon himself. So moving towards updates on what I have been doing since my last report, which has been quite a while. My staff and I have been working on voter registration. I'm really proud of the work that Aria Bolanos has done with my staff and that she will continue to do as voter registration and education coordinator. I'm very proud that my staff is extremely enthusiastic with all of our campaigns and they're working really, really hard. As many of you know, Aria planned the political carnival and mixer where we had over 60 attendees, which, I mean, for me it's pretty good, I think. Especially when attendance has been fairly low at a lot of events that we've been having. And it's really great for students to learn about the political groups here on our campus. Yeah. So a little over a week ago, I had the privilege of attending the 26th annual Greater Merced Chamber of Commerce Chapino dinner with a few other representatives of UC Merced. I was able to meet with a few of our local representatives, including our city council members, and basically it was really great to meet all of them and to be able to represent our campus. And then moving towards this weekend where we had the Students of Color Conference. So we had 90 students attend out of the 218 that applied. Unfortunately, the numbers decreased compared to last year. We had 112 last year, but hotel prices in LA are extremely expensive, as many of you know. Also, transportation has gone up as well. So of the students that attended the conference in the past, a majority of them agreed that the conference has greatly improved in terms of content and presentation this year. Personally, my experiences with this conference itself was positive. However, there were a few discrepancies with the host campus, UCLA. As a board member on UCSA, personally, my vote in terms of things pertaining to the conference itself were made in the best interest of the organization. At least that was for me. most of the grievances that were presented to me from my delegation will be expressed in a letter that I'll be drafting and sending to UCLA's Students of Color Planning Committee. If anyone attends the conference and is interested in contributing to the letter, please contact me. So overall, the conference has greatly improved in terms of mobilizing students and showing how much power the 10 UC campuses have when they're united together, especially during the action that was present on Saturday. I'd like to address a few of the concerns that have been going around in terms of the feedback that has been going around about the Students of Color Conference. These opinions, honestly, they'll always be present. Like, for CAB, for example, we can never please everyone. There's always going to be a few people who are like, oh, well, why couldn't it be bigger? Why can't it be like a little bit more or something like that? There's always going to be those opinions that will always be present. However, the general consensus of everything was still positive. President Brandon himself expressed that he felt the conference this year was much more inclusive and beneficial to attend, and I strongly agree with him. I also have been hearing around that there has been a rumor in terms of reducing funding for the Students of Color Conference next year, and I would like to say that's a shame. Honestly, UC Merced champions diversity, and as the only campus without a retention and recruitment center, or even a cultural center, it's a shame that some of you are considering taking away a safe place for students of color to be. You have a constituency of which you represent, and of that constituency, over 75% are identified as students of color. I'm extremely disappointed that such actions are being considered by a body of students that have been elected as representatives. I will strongly advocate against this action if it were to take place, and honestly, I feel that if you do have any concerns, please bring them to me so we can hash them out and discuss it in a more civilized manner. Moving on to more updates. So President Napolitano has proposed a tuition freeze for the 2014-15 year. She has also set aside $5 million towards undocumented students and $10 million towards recruiting and training graduate students and postdoctoral research fellows. President Brandon and I are very happy with the direction that President Napolitano is going. And in terms of looking at the trend that she is going, we're looking forward to working with her even more. President Brandon, Internal Vice President Flores, and I will be drafting a letter in order to invite President Napolitano, Regent Ruiz, Student Regent Flores, and multiple elected representatives within our district to come speak to all of you next semester. Hopefully they all come. President Brandon, my staff, and I will also begin our lobby visits to various district offices next month in order to advocate on behalf of this campus and its needs. President Brandon and I will be working over spring break to make sure that we meet with almost every elected representative that we have within our area before the California legislature kicks back into session on January 6th. I will also be advocating on behalf of UCSA's campaign on these lobby visits. In the next coming weeks, I hope for a senator to help pass a resolution in support of the Ignite bill and the Fund the UC campaign. These campaigns are decided upon by all 10 UC campuses, it's not just an idea that we all came up with. It was decided at the UCSA Congress, much like how USSA decides on their campaigns at the USSA Congress. So, with that being said, I hope you all pass these resolutions when they do come to the table, as these campaigns, as I just said, were voted on by UC students, including your UC Merced constituents. This week, my staff and I will be continuing with our statewide week of action. Not only is our campus doing actions with the postcards and everything like that, every other UC campus is also holding their week of action. Most of them have protests. Unfortunately, ours, we don't exactly have the capacity for that yet, but in the future, maybe. So I strongly encourage all of you to stop by our table, sign a postcard, pick up a pamphlet, learn and read more about the Ignite campaign, Fossil Free UC campaign, California Modernization and Economic Development Act campaign, and we also had a guest speaker session earlier this afternoon with Chirag Bhakta and Maxwell Love. I'm really, really happy that they both came out here, and I hope that all of you that attended had a great time. I'll be attaching a summary of these campaigns once again for all of you to read up on, in case you did forget. Also attached is our updates from the UC Federal Government Relations and UC State Government Relations. What I believe is important about these updates is that they give you a rundown of all the bills that are going through the legislature, and it's really important that, like, as a body of elected representatives, you should know what all of these bills are, what they're for, and how they are pertinent to the work that we do here, especially with the growth of our campus. So I really encourage all of you to read on my report, to educate your constituents on the work that's being done. My work would be greatly impeded if you didn't do that. If you have any questions on the material that I provided, please contact me. Okay, so finally, I would like to thank Chirag Bhakta and Maxwell Love again for being here. The United States Student Association definitely does a lot of work for us and helps us with our lobbying efforts in the federal level at Washington, D.C. The USSA board meeting will be this week in UC Riverside. Unfortunately, I can't attend it. It is fairly expensive and would definitely hit my budget quite hard. The board meeting in Arizona is actually a lot cheaper for me to attend to by about $400. So I may attend that. So I believe that as a direct member of USSA, we need to make the most of our membership. In years past, we haven't been as active in USSA, and I feel that we should start getting more active within USSA. And this includes attending board meetings, keeping up to date with what USSA is doing, and to help with what they're doing, and for them to also help with what we're doing. So as this report is coming to an end, I would like to say that I hope all of you read or listening to my report in its entirety, and I hope that you all read it as well. These reports are written thoroughly in order to keep all of you informed on what's going on within and outside of campus. The amount of information is very crucial. If a resolution comes up, I mean, all this information is very important when that resolution comes up. It's imperative to be able to discuss these resolutions on behalf of your constituents and not table what is being brought forth. So I thank you for your time, and that's my report.
Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Ish, I'm your Director of Student Activities. My report's really quick, just want to give you guys some updates on what I've been doing lately. This past week I went on a conference down in Ontario, California, SoCal, and it was a campus activities conference for all the Western schools that wanted to send people to this conference. What I wanted to discuss with you guys, what I learned from this, is pretty much how key networking is and how important it is as a campus activities board. So at this conference, I pretty much met all the surrounding schools within UC Merced, Stanislaus, Fresno State, UOP, and I was able to build like a personal relationship with these directors and these campus activities boards. If it wasn't for this conference, I'm pretty sure there was no other way that I would have been able to build those relationships with those people and actually get to know what type of events they have on campus, and even further represent UC Merced as a whole. So if you guys ever have any questions about what I learned into detail for at the conference, you guys can ask me, but I'm going to go on to my events. So tomorrow night we have movie night. We're having This Is the End, which is a really funny movie. It's going to be held in COB 102. We have snacks, we have drinks, a bunch of free stuff for you guys. The next day we're helping out with the Bare Necessities Run. That's going to be Friday from 5 to tentatively 8. If you guys have any questions on that or anything at all, you guys can contact me. Saturday we have Cab Sterical. So the way we're doing Cab Sterical is pretty much we're doing pre-registration from Wednesday to Friday, and we're leaving spaces available for Saturday. The main reason why we're doing pre-registration is because we're a campus of 6,200 students, and the theater that we're having this event at only holds 1,300 students. So the only way to make it fair for students who really want to attend this event is to have pre-registration on a day-to-day basis. So the way we're conducting it is we're doing 300 today, we're doing 300 tomorrow, 300 Friday, leaving 300 spots for Saturday. So just like for an example, if you couldn't make Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, and you really wanted to go to this event, then you would take the time out of your Saturday to show up to like an hour, 2 hours early, whatever it takes, to attend the event and be admitted in. So if you guys have any questions on how we're doing pre-registration or attendance for the event, you guys can contact me. And just a reminder, this event is only for UC Merced undergraduate students. If for some reason we let everybody in the event, all undergrads, and there happen to be graduate students or faculty that want to come in, then we'll take that like by ear and decide if we want to let them in, or we'll talk with the board. So other than that, we're working with UNICEF to raise funds for what's happening with the typhoon. And pretty much how we're doing this is we ordered t-shirts for the event on Saturday, and we're going to do a $5 minimum donation for each shirt, and whatever we raise, we're donating completely everything. So if you guys have any questions with any of the events that we have going on, you guys can contact me directly. I have my CAB meeting in about 16 minutes, so you guys can contact me tonight. So thank you for your time.